Hey, what's up you guys, it's Adri here, welcome back to my channel. It's a beautiful Saturday and I'm going to discuss about a very dear subject of mine, at least it was, diversification of portfolio. Well, the thing is that the title is right, I quit portfolio diversification. And I'm going to present you my arguments and why I chose to do this. Well, last year I had a 23% performance on my stock portfolio. That's exclusively on the US stock market. And I had a better return on investment in cryptocurrencies, as most of the people, of course, but I chose mine wisely. I think besides January when I incurred 2,000 euros, 2,000 and a few hundreds, loss that I had to trade in order to recover, because it was a terrific week that week. I really had to recover everything. Sometimes it happens, you lose money in order to earn, but you have to take careful steps, so you have to do your research before taking action, of course. Yeah, hopefully for me it worked out very well. But I don't usually do trades. I did that because it was a highly volatile period, and I actually can do that because I've spent the last 5 to 6 years on researching stocks and cryptocurrencies, and I learned the technical analysis, fundamental analysis. I still have to learn some things that are exceptional. I mean, it's not the standard technique for fundamental analysis, but I consider myself above average, at least, because the thing that you must master in cryptocurrencies, at least for trading, for swing and day trading, is market psychology. Honestly, most of the people don't understand how the market works, and people do not lose money. It's just a transfer of money between one party to another one. That's it. The economy is not at risk. You are as an investor. So the issues with investments, as I am going to develop further, is not the investment per se, but the investor type. So you have to decide what type of investor you want to be. You want to be the one that takes the advice of a financial advisor from your bank or from whatever financial institution you go to, or you want to do your own research and keep every single commission. The 1% commission that you pay to your financial advisor is a ripoff, because over time that compounds and it becomes a tremendously huge sum that you're paying for nothing, for something that you could do on your own. So I strongly recommend you to do your research and start investing by yourself. Don't listen to other people who are less experienced than you on what to do with your money. You have to take the control of your own money. So here we go. I'm going to present you the reasons why I quit diversification. Most of the financial advisors out there, as you very well know, say more or less this thing: save up, put your money into some ETFs or bonds or high yield savings account, and invest on long term and just wait the market to do its own thing. I don't say that is wrong. I mean, it makes sense. ETFs outperform usually the stock market, especially when we discuss about the parallel between long-term investors and day traders. I made another video and I prove that even dividend investors outperform the S&P 500. So it depends on what type of investor you decide to be, on long term or short term, on middle term or short term, or you could be a swing trader or a day trader, or you could be what else? You could be a cash flow investor or a capital gain investor. So like for instance Robert T. Kiyosaki, which is a controversial figure in this world, but he's right in most of the things. Especially when we discuss about, I remember there was one of his books called Who Took My Money, yeah, and he developed an analogy between a cow breeder and a cattle breeder, actually, and another businessman who was milking the cows in order to provide sustainable cash flow. So the one that was raising cattle, he was concerned only on capital gains. He was killing the cattle and he was taking all the profit, and he had to do all the work again in order to enjoy those profits. But on the other side, the milking factory owner was enjoying sustainable and regular income because he was selling the milk, and the milk continued to be produced by the cows. Yeah, so this is what type of investor you can be. Anyway, let's go back. Diversification, just like Warren Buffett, the greatest investor of all time, says, is just for stupid people, for ignorant people. You can check that. If I find something that is copyright free, a video, I'm going to post it here. But instead of this, what I'm saying now. And he's right, because when you diversify, you do that just because you try to avoid risk. You don't care what happens with your company. You are just interested in those shares to grow. You're interested in the dividends. You don't understand the business strategy. You don't understand fundamental and analysis how it's conducted. You're just ignorant to what you invest in, and you're just giving your money to other people in order to do whatever they want. And when a friend asks me, for instance, I have some money, what do I do with them? I do one thing as of today. I will do this. I will tell him, put them in your money, put them in your bank account. I mean, why do you ask people what you want to do with your money? You are the master of your own fate, and you must be the master of your money, of course. But in order to do that, you need to educate yourself financially speaking. That's it. I know you don't have time. I know you don't have time. Yeah, I don't have time either. But I try to make it because life was easier in high school. Life is quite easy during faculty, and it's going to be much harder when we are going. My generation will have family, and they will have to provide for the family, and yeah, they will go through troubles as everybody out there. I mean, I look at Gen X, boomers. I mean, they are stressed all the time because of money, and they shouldn't, because it's nothing else than paper or numbers on a screen. I mean, you can make it, honestly. You can make it, I trust you. So I will quit to diversify, and instead of that, I will try to pick my own stocks. I've been doing this since November, somewhere there. I didn't give it a thought, but somewhere in 2020, at the end of the 2020. Yeah, I decided to pick my own stocks because I was aiming for blue chip stocks, for dividend kings. I still keep going with the dividend investing because dividend investing is worth it according to the statistics, and that's waterproof. Yeah. So just don't keep diversifying and learn what you invest in, because at the end of the day you want to know how you earned those profits, based on what. And if you don't know that, why do you invest in that company in the first place? And I learned that by mistake. Yeah, I made a mistake in my investments. I listen to other people, and I rarely listen to other people, but sometimes I trust some people too much. We are people. We sometimes get lost, honestly. We are vulnerable, and some other people take advantage of us. Maybe not because they do that intentionally, but maybe that's what they believe. And by just trusting them, you want to try to be supportive of their investments or of their advice. You want to show them that you are a good friend and you care about what they say to you for the time spent with you. Yes, of course, that's gentle, but it doesn't serve your best interest. Yeah, it doesn't serve your best interest. That's the thing. I basically invested in Xpeng and it went down. I do have faith in it. I mean, it will perform very well, I think, in 2020 or 2021. Otherwise, I'm just going to sell, but it was unassumed risk. I mean, I own it. I really own my mistakes. I think that it was a high risk, high reward thing, and I said, let's do it. It's not much trouble. I don't know. I invested around, let me check. I think that I put, it's not much honestly, but I have to see. So here we go. Xpeng, I'm just looking for my portfolio right now. By the way, I use Revolut for instance. I'm now in Romania, and I used to have another a broker in the Netherlands, but yeah, I just quit that one. Yeah, so now I use Revolut. Xpeng, I invested 3.33 shares. I think that I sold some. Oh no, it's a low investment here. I have $186 and $50, and I took out $48 and $4. Yeah, so I have invested around wow, math is hard at this time, $236, and I took out $52. So that's quite fine, because I still have equity in it of around $115. So I'm just down $71. Yeah. The one I invested really hard in it in the EV sector is NIO, because I don't like. I mean, I don't like the fact that so many people invest in Tesla right now, but the company, the car, is great, honestly. I just didn't believe in the hype surrounding the company. I was too late in it, and I didn't want to get involved. It wasn't that it was expensive in terms of share price, but I just didn't want to do what everybody else was doing. Yeah. So in NIO I invested. Wait, I see that I did a withdrawal. That's curious. Anyway, $441. Another time $742, and another time $1,152. So that would be around 2,000. Ah, shit. Sorry. That's hard. 2,300 or so, something like that. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. Okay, let's do it. 151 plus 732 plus 441. So I invested a total, approximately speaking, of $2,324 in NIO. Yeah, and I took out by now around 1,273, and I still have equity in it of around 1,000, and so yeah, I almost break even here. Yeah, I mean, I'm right now, when the market is down around 13% down, so I'm fine. I mean, I bought it and sold it mostly in during, wait, let me tell you, December and January. Yeah, between the 29th, I guess, of December 2020 and the last day was the 27 January 2021. Yeah, this is one of my biggest investments in the EV sector. Yeah, so anyway, I just don't want to keep diversifying and trusting other people. I usually don't do that, but I wasn't very knowledgeable of the EV sector at that time. I just knew that it will surge, and I got in the middle because I honestly hadn't time. I was performing an internship during that time, and oh god, I was going home at 11, 12 sometimes. But it was fun. So briefly, I just get bored of diversifying on long term and just outperform the market with 23%. Well, I didn't outperform it with 23, but just with the average was around 15, so let's say around 7%. Yeah, I outperformed the US stock market in 2020 with around 7%, which was fine, but considering times. But I'm not so pleased because I put so much time, and I tend to compare my results with the time spent and not with the money that went in. That's why I believe that the ROI, the return on investment, must be sought on two dimensions. One in terms of price and one in terms of time spent in order to know what you invest in. Yeah, so even if I was doing my homework when I was investing to diversify between sectors in order to make a pie chart that was sustainable, which apparently it was, I will keep going with fewer stocks. Now I have more than 27, 28, something like that. I was going to say more than 20. So yeah, I have around 27, 28 stocks that I own right now, in stocks in different companies, yeah. But I plan to focus more and spend more time on fewer, maybe 10 per year, and I'm going to perform maybe a 1 month analysis before investing in something. I want to enjoy higher ROIs and also keep investing in my dividend portfolio, because I'm not like the cattle breeder. I'm just like the milking factory owner. I just enjoy that cash flow to come every single month, no matter what happens with the market or with the news, with the company, yeah, or anything else. Yeah, I just want that dividends to come all the time and keep reinvesting it, either in the same company or in better investments. But usually I tend to go slow on this because dividend investing is safer than anything, in my opinion, at least at this time. Yeah, so I'm going to keep grow my dividend investing portfolio and focus on bigger capital gains. Yeah, I want to become, sometimes in the near future, after I finish my master's, a professional investor. Yeah, so I have to take advantage of the time that I have right now during faculty, because in 1.5 years from now I will have a full-time job, and I really don't want that to take to blind my or to shadow my targets. I'm fine right now. I'm doing my side hustles and I keep investing, but I need to grow my game. Honestly, I need to grow my game, because with 7% I'm not going to be an elite investor, and I don't want to be a trader because trading is too consuming for me. I'm not made for that type of emotional triggers that come and go every single time. And sometimes I'm just like, I'm spending, usually, especially in highly volatile seasons, I'm spending my days here at this very laptop and staying and watching 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, and especially that's midday, because from my observations, the best moments for cryptocurrency trading, especially on Binance, is at 10 a.m. And 14 hours. So yeah, Universal Time Center Plus 2. Now, as a final note, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do in order to combat diversification. I'm going to apply what it's called synergy instead of diversification. So I'm going to take advantage of certain parts of diversification and apply synergy to all the types of investments for my 20s. I'm going to get my full-time job because you need it in your 20s, of course, for many other reasons besides the financial remuneration. And with those money, I'm going to grow first a side hustle. Then I'm going to take the profits to diversify into real estate. And then I'm going to take those money to invest in shares, usually shares and cryptocurrencies. Then the next step is to invest in bonds, but that depends. You must be very careful because not everywhere in the world the bonds are a sound financial step. Because for instance in the US right now, if I'm not mistaken, I know that the bonds, the federal bonds, underperformed the stock market. But in some places in Europe, they don't. They are a sound and safe investment for seniors, for instance. And as accelerators, especially for shares and real estate, you don't have to use your own money. I'm going to use other people's money and make more investors to take part at my projects. So I'm going to use my bank's money because it's a lower interest rate than other financial institutions or wannabe financial institutions maybe in the future or not. Those other third-party providers or whatever. That's another subject. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to use other people's money to grow my business and take the difference, leverage that. So I'm going to use that to create positive cash flow on my behalf. But I'm not going to invest, for instance, in real estate in the same type of property, for instance, residential property, because I'm not diversifying then. I'm just putting all my money into the same basket, you know? So that's not diversification, even if it sounds like that. So a job, then a business, then what I said, yeah, well, I have my strategy in my mind. So a job, business, a real estate, investments in shares usually. Yes. You have also to understand the tax law of each country very well. I mean, if you don't do that, you lack maybe 30% of the whole analysis. Because by knowing how to deduct your expenses and use tax credit and benefit from certain tax policies depending on the field, you're going to retain much more earnings into your company. And then the corporation laws, because certain legal persons are more beneficial in certain countries than in others. So you have to understand some interpretation. That's why I think that studying law gives you an advantage in this sense. Makes you see things clearer, why they are made this way, what interest a law serves, what they try to achieve as politicians. I mean, you make a law in order to solve an issue and to fulfill a gap for a potential arising issue in the future, or to regulate behavior such as the excise duty for anything, or like the excise on cigarettes or on oil or gas, whatever, for climate change combating. Yeah, so that's it. You have to invest into a diversification and use that diversification to create synergy around your investments. So don't invest into the same type of assets within a category. So if you're going to go into business, diversify into different fields. Don't go all in for one business. Then when you buy real estate, don't go all in for the same type of properties and in the same business strategy. So you're not going to buy only apartments. So wait, you are going to do real estate like this. You want to get in it, you're going to contract for a loan, for a mortgage, for residential property. Then you're going to take that money and find a better investment with a higher ROI. And what would be better than, for instance, commercial real estate? You see, I mean, you have to diversify not only into residential but also into commercial, and then you have industrial and so on. You have public storages, you have garages, you have parking lots, and so on. You know. Anyway, then within these types of sectors within the real estate, you have property that's residential or industrial or commercial. For instance, if we talk about residential, you're not going to just invest in one type of property. So for instance, in apartments, you have to strive with duplexes, triplexes, with camping lots, with these are the types that I'm really interested in because they are highly scalable and are easy to build, because you are going to get people that are young and they don't care, they just want an accommodation for a medium period of time. So I think that's quite sure. I mean, I'm mostly focused on properties that can be rented out between 4 to 6 and then longer than 1 year. Of course, that's better. But when I'm talking about multiple units, I'm going to provide something that my competition will not do. So that's affordable accommodation in terms of time. So you don't have to stress yourself out, especially like in situations that we have now, when you have to universities reopen and you have to contract for 1 year, for instance. Yeah, I had some experience out there. It went well for me at least, but for some others, not so much, because they had to pay a whole year. Yeah, anyway, so just use synergy. That's my final note. And don't invest on long term expecting, because that's the difference between nothing, between a wish, between an expectancy that your portfolio will grow, and when you're taking action and you understand what you invest in. That's why I mainly quit diversification. I want to diversify by using synergy. That's it. So multiple streams of income, because with only one type of income, you're just one step away from poverty, and no one wants that, I believe. Yeah, I'm not going to stay with only one source of income, honestly. My brain is not wired like that. Anyway, that's all for today, guys. If you found something interesting in this video, please let me know down below in the commentary section. Hit the notification bell, smash the like button, and one more time, subscribe. Subscribe right now. It takes only 1 second and it helps the algorithm, and it would mean the world for me if you do so, because I want to share more with you. So please consider subscribing. Till the next time!